We are here at Studio Movie Grill for Texas Frightmare weekend. We're here to see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I hear there's a Q&A with Tobe Hooper after the movie. So let's go in and check it out.
Megan will probably go.
Who are you here to see?
Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Come on, Franklin, you had fun. If I have any more fun, I don't know if I can take it.
This screening is presented by Texas Frightmare Weekend and Dark Sky Films. So we want to thank those people right off the bat. Thank you all for showing up tonight. We're very, very lucky to have in attendance tonight. Uh-oh.
Oh, there it is.
As I was saying, thank you very, very much for coming out tonight. There's a whole list of people that I need to thank real quick. I need to thank, of course, our sponsor for tonight's events, Dark Sky. I need to thank Anchor Bay Entertainment and my wife, all the Frightmare minions. I also need to thank someone, Mr. Chris Rowe, if you can come on up, sir.
Yeah, Chris Rowe.
Every year, I call Lloyd with these ideas and I say, oh my God, Lloyd, I got this great idea. And he cringes when I do this because he knows that it's going to cost a lot of money. And every year, last year, how many of you were here for the 40th anniversary Night of the Living Dead? I mean, it was an amazing time, and it was so good, and Lloyd goes, well, I don't know, brother, how are we going to top that off? And I said, I got this great idea. I said, let's bring in Tobe this year. Now, those of you who know Mr. Hooper, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't, but it's always work-related, I can guarantee you. And so, just to have Tobe here, it's such a pleasure to have him back home in Texas. And along with Tobe, to have Marlyn Burns and Terri McMinn and our favorite gal from Texas Chainsaw 2, Caroline Williams, here to send off the movie. So I just want to thank, on behalf of all of us, I want to thank Lloyd, Dark Skies, Anchor Bay, all of you guys for coming out year after year. I just told Lloyd a few minutes ago, well, what are we going to do for next year? And he just said, oh God, please, can we just get this year over with, please? So we're working on it. Thank you all for coming out, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Tobe Hooper.
Okay, so this is the 35th anniversary of the Chainsaw, and I'm happy to be home and make them play this thing loud, louder than that song. It's mono, so crank it up, and we'll talk later. Thanks a lot.
As the investigation at the scene continues, oil storage units continue to burn out of control at the huge Texaco refinery near the Texas-Louisiana border.
We've got everyone here with us now. How great is that to see that on the big screen? Carolyn Burns, Terri and Tobe Hooper, come on out.
Hey, thanks, guys. Get some barbecue.
Now, show of hands, how many of you, was that your first time seeing that on the big screen? It's pretty amazing, right? All right, well, let's first of all, let's have a big round of applause for Texas Frightmare Weekend for bringing these guys in. All right, and let's go ahead and do this. Who is the brave soul that's going to start this out with the first question? Oh, that's brave. All right.
Mrs. Burns, I gotta ask you if you can still do it and if you would demonstrate it for us. Would you scream for us?
I really would like to. So, I probably need a little practice session. I just had dinner. And I'm not particularly upset with anybody right at the moment. And you wouldn't get the same kind of energy and pure hate that came out of that screaming as what you heard in the movie. Because that was just my way of getting back at everybody in the picture for giving me such a hard time. And the only thing I could do in the movie to get even with everybody is scream. And it sure made everybody miserable. And that was my time to enjoy what was happening.
All right, who's got another question?
I got one.
There we go.
This is kind of a sick question, but this is my, actually, this is, honest God, this is my first time to ever see this movie. And I was really expecting it to be very more hackneyed and kind of relying more on tension, but I was amazed at how really well directed it was and how the great sense of, I was not expecting the great humor, the kind of black humor at the end. So my rambling question is, did you ever consider spinning off the Leatherface family into a really twisted sitcom?
Great idea. That's a cool idea. Now I do. That's called red humor, by the way.
All right, who's got another good question here? All right, in the back, the black shirt, hand up. Right there, yeah.
Like some of the early part, the film sort of seemed to get blurry from the heartbeat. Like it would just go blur, blur, blur. What's up with that?
I think that's an old print.
All right, next question. Okay, go right ahead, sir.
Is the chainsaw yellow or green?
Yes.
Still, oh, I think it was, okay, well, it was, I think it was yellow.
It was yellow.
Yeah, but, the way it got green though was disguising, the industrial 16 millimeter look. So I graded the color, so it was like greenish.
Thanks. Who won the bet on that?
Oh, I did. I did.
Okay, you sir in the hat.
Yeah, well, one of the things I found really compelling about Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the soundtrack. Could you talk about a little bit about how that was done?
Yeah, when I was cutting the living room on a flatbed moviola that would go 1,000 frames a second because they're pride. But anyway, in a small bedroom, I would cut a scene and then go to a bedroom that I used as a little sound stage, and it was like bowls full of water. It was like a broken koto. I had a bass violin with a chalimba, this African instrument. So anyways, I would go from one room to the other, and I would record the sound effects, and some of them was analog, so some of them were slowed down, and so I would go back in and would cut the music in. So it was kind of spontaneous as the film progressed, as the making of the film progressed.
I mean, that opening scene with the flashes, it's really compelling, even today.
Yeah, thank you. That sound has got to be kind of an icon.
Yes.
Been used a lot.
Okay, sir, right there.
A couple of years ago, you were supposed to attend the Texas Beer Fest, and a bunch of people were promised autographs because they bought a VIP package, and we never received them. I was wondering if there was any way we could collect on those this weekend?
Chris.
I'll answer that question for you. No. The gentleman that put on Texas Beer Fest fraudulently made that announcement. That was never anything. There was never a signed contract. There was never a deal that was ever put in stone on that. And unfortunately, the person that you really need to go back and talk to is a gentleman by the name of John Gray.
All right, next question. All right, right there in the back.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for making my favorite film ever, bar none, since I was 11 years old. My question is, if it got greenlit, would you do another chainsaw project?
Yes.
I beg your pardon, if what?
If it was greenlit, would you do another chainsaw project, film, short, something along that line?
Yeah, I would.
Thank you. Do it, please, please.
All right, sir in the front row.
Okay, I mean, obviously the film has become such a cultural icon, and it is so well made and gritty. You know, it's easy to understand why people believe this. But you know, the movie itself is loosely based on the story of Ed Gein. So how do you feel about people who say that, who really do believe it's based on a true story? Because I've met people who say, well, my great uncle's second cousin, you Leatherface in prison. I think it's pretty funny. How do you feel about that?
Well, I've argued with people myself. But it was like, I had relatives that told me about Ed Gein when I was 3 years old, but that chainsaw really, it was kind of that way, but it was like the family doctor told me a story that when he was in pre-med school, he skinned a cadaver's face and wore it to the Halloween party. So it was like, and also I must say that I saw a film called Legend of Boggy Creek, and it said it was true. And I saw the lines around the building, around to the theater, and I thought, well, to imply that is great. But yeah, I mean, people, I've argued with people. You know, so I mean, it's, and I can tell you, and it'll still be a true story. I mean, there's no way to erase that.
No, I don't argue with people anymore. I just go, oh, really? Because otherwise, oh, yeah, I did. I know. You can't argue, so you just say, oh, okay.
Well, you know, in a way, you know, except for any real killings, except Marilyn getting really bonged around on the head. And that's what fashion it was true. And that there was kind of a war dance, a kind of a spirit that came up around that thing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going down in it. Like during the dinner table scene, there was like havoc on the outside. It's like we tried to, there was no way to find domestic animals, taxidermy, and some, I don't know if it was Bob Burns, I doubt it, but someone went to the pound. You
It was
remember that?
Dottie.
Yes.
It was Dottie.
It was Dottie.
And brought back about roughly 1,500 pounds of, you know, animals that no longer breathe. And so somewhere in the process, you know, she found out you couldn't prop them up, you know, they kind of, you know. And she was shooting with formaldehyde and shot through the dogs, got loaded up, and injected herself with formaldehyde. And so it was it was some crazy stuff going on. Like the chicken on the table had not yet cured. I mean, if you pick that prop up, the little hands with, you know, the little chicken feet would do that. The one skeleton we had was cooking, and it was daytime, so it was about 170 degrees. And then we did with America. Yeah, well, yeah, there's truth in it.
A lot of reality there.
All right, next question, right there, second.
I got two questions. One is, you talked about Legend of Boggy Creek. Any other influences in the movie? And then also, I hear an obscure rumor about the mob partially financing some of this film. Is there any truth to that?
No, they didn't finance it, but and I, you know, I don't know if it was really like the, well, yeah, I guess it would be, Bryanston, the distributor. Yeah, well, what do you think, Marilyn?
Well, the actual making of it, the money came from nice legislators in Texas that just wanted a tax write-off to begin with. And that's all they wanted. And, you know, as we finished the movie, I guess we had to contribute a little more and get more people to help because there was a little more left to do. And of course, those guys were horrified that we were actually getting it distributed because that wasn't their plan. Now, when we got it distributed, we were super excited, and we came across this new company, and it was Bryanston Pictures. They had Bruce Lee, Return of the Dragon, and they put Chainsaw right with it. We were real proud with this brand new company, and they met us, they took us to Dallas and had this big premiere and talked about themselves and their start. What we didn't know is that their money came from like the financing of Deep Throat.
And Marilyn called me. She saw the sneak preview of the Pacific, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And you called me and told me, well, you know, that flipped out. The theater was like freaking out.
Yeah. It was quite a shock to the audience at first. Yeah. It had a tremendous impact.
All right, next question. Let's see, right back there, sir. Go ahead.
I was wondering, two of the Texas cities mentioned in the movie, Childress and Fort Worth, they both lie on Highway 287. So I was wondering where off 287 is the film set?
I don't know. It's all over the place. I don't really know where the gas station is anymore. The house got moved to Taylor and turned into a restaurant.
Kingsland.
Where was it?
Kingsland.
Kingsland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the Four Bears restaurant.
Yeah. And so.
Delicious.
Oh, yes. So I don't know. That was just kind of, you know, one of those things.
Can each of you talk about real quick just a favorite memory on the set, something you think that you'll always take with you about this film?
Terri. Okay. Do I need a mic? Yeah. Is it on?
Yes.
Good. My favorite was filming the death scenes.
Yes.
Because I was actually actively involved in it. And even though it went on for so long when I was fighting Gunneroff and I had to cancel a show I was doing that night because I couldn't walk or talk or move or turn over in my sleep. And but I loved those 3-4 days that we spent. The filming of the meat hook scene didn't take that long, and it was ingenious. It was a little embarrassing afterward because I had no place to shower, and so I had to go out. Dottie was spraying me down with a hose because the base of the blood was Karo syrup, and so she was spraying me down, and I think I was naked outside. And I didn't care because the flies were just flocking to you because of the Karo syrup, right?
Tell them about the harness.
Oh yeah, the harness. Well, that was a very, very attractive part of my costume. It was, they couldn't figure out how to get me to hang on the hook with, to put something underneath the costume that would be hidden. So Dottie came up with this idea. They would use parachute strapping, and they made it was sort of like a chastity belt, and then it had foam through the crotch, so because that's where all the pressure was. and then she came up with an ingenious idea to put a pair of pantyhose. She just took them and stitched them to it, and those ran underneath the bathing suit. And then in the back, there was a strap that came up with a big steel hook, from the parachute. And Tobe, because everybody was really worried, it was a very intense thing to shoot. I mean, I remember Tobe said, well, Terri, what do you think? What do you think you'd do? What have you thought about this? And I said, what do you think you do? Well, I said, I think I'd try and get off.
That's before we learned to take the teeth out of the blade.
Yeah, right.
Bill Vale was really,
he was in danger.
Yeah.
He was in danger.
He had no peripheral vision at all.
No. But also, when we were doing that, Tobe was underneath, spotting, so that they were sure that it went on the hook, on the steel ring, that the hook went on the steel ring as opposed to my back. So.
Yeah, and the costume too was backless, so that when she walked to the house, it would sell the gag.
And they tricked me on that one. They tricked me. I came out to the set that day, and I was excited, because I'm always, you're a young actor, you were ready to work, and dang it, this is my, and Dottie's putting on my makeup, and I'm looking at her, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Daniel crouching under the swing with his camera, and he's always got his glasses up, and he's doing this, and Toby's kind of pacing over there, and I said, Dottie, what is the camera doing under the swing? Because I do realize that my cheeks are hanging out of these shorts, and I'm very worried about my mama. You saw the movie Carrie, I think, right? That was based on my mother, actually. So I get over to the swing, I march over, and I said, Tobe, just what is the camera doing under the swing? And I was hot and bothered. And he said, whoa, no, Terri, don't worry about it. We're going to do this shot, and you're going to walk up to the house. I said, I know, but the camera is under the swing, and you want me to sit in the swing. Well, yeah, it's gonna look good, We're gonna be, and we had a little, I don't know if it went on 10 or 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour, but finally he said, oh, Terri, don't worry about it. We're gonna shoot around it.
It was like the fifth reshoot, too.
How many times did they have to reshoot that one?
We had it covered 100 different ways.
And
then I went to, outside of Houston, my nephew was dying to see the film, and I hadn't seen it, and I'm driving to Houston in my Volkswagen bus. We've been out partying all night the night before, my girlfriend Dee and I, and we're just very hungover, and I haven't had any makeup on, and I'm driving along, and Dee says, "Hitchhiker." I said, "What does he look like?" And she said, "He looks all right." I said, "You want to pick him up?" And she said, "Yeah," which is almost exactly what we said in film. So we picked this kid up, and he gets in, and you know, and he's talking and talking, and I've still got my glasses on, just trying to keep focus on the road. And he starts going on and on about this movie, this awesome movie he'd seen the night before at the drive-in. And there was this chick hanging on a meat hook. As God is my witness, this happened. And I waited until I figured out whether or not he liked my work. I wasn't going to say a word. It's true, it's true. And I actually, at one point, I thought, well, gosh, it does seem he likes my work, you know? So I pulled up my sunglasses and I said, "Do you recognize me?" And he said, "What?" I said, "I'm the girl on the meat hook." No! This guy came out of his skin. But then I just saw the movie right after that, and I warned my nephew that I would kill him if he told anyone. And I was waiting, particularly on the moment when I get up from the swing, because I'm so afraid my mother and my Aunt Jerry are going to see this movie, you know? And I'm thinking, he said he would shoot around it. So I get up from the swing, and there in CinemaScope and Technicolor, I think, or something, there are my cheeks.
Very, that's great.
Oh, there are several scenes that I remember that are all my favorites. From the beginning, when Gunnar was chasing me through the woods with the chainsaw, and he couldn't see very well, and it was all hot and sticky, and everybody was grumpy. But that was just the beginning. The van scene was also priceless. In the heat with that many people in the van, that was also another fun ride. And the gas station, when I run into Cedar, that was a lot of fun. And Tobe finally says to Jim, "Jim, you gotta hit the woman." He says, "Tobe, I just can't hit her." He goes, "We're been here all night. We're losing. We're gonna have light. Just go ahead and hit her." So he go ahead and hit me. That's how I got that black eye. I mean, there were just, it seemed, and the night with the mesquite when I was running through and all those thorns stuck in me to have the doctor take them out the next day. But I must say that the dinner sequence and all the end were probably my favorites, especially the ending, because we shot the whole ending where I jump in the truck, rush away hysterically, and nobody hosed me down between after. I mean, you're just gonna stay in those pants and that shirt forever. I don't get the bees, the ants, everything. They stood up by themselves. My hair was like this with Hershey syrup, and it was miserable. And then so we got all through with that, and I get home, I'm in the tub, thinking, okay, I survived it, I'm still real shaky. And just a little bit later, I get a call, and they go, "Marilyn, we gotta shoot that ending again." So that second time, it didn't require much acting really, because I was already there. But there were just many, there's so many different moments in the film that were just so memorable that it's hard just to reflect on just one. But the 26 hours we took doing the dinner scene in the heat with the rotting chicken and the rotting head cheese, and everybody throwing up between takes, and everybody mad as hell, and everybody's Oh, wait, the night they brought the brownies to the set. That was a good one. We had this wonderful caterer and she brought these brownies. So people naturally enjoyed their dessert. And then all of a sudden Toby's mom and his kid came there and somebody's running around going, "Get the brownies!" I'm going, "Well, what the hell? Why should we get the brownies? What do you mean you're taking all the brownies?" And Gunnar goes, "What's wrong with the brownies? I just had 3 or 4. His next scene is to bust through the door of the house and then chase me up the stairs with his chainsaw. And I think that night a lot of the crew too had a lot of that brownies. So it made for a real interesting night shoot. So there's just so many lovely occasions. I just can't probably get them all in. But I guess the dinner sequence is definitely one of the most memorable couple days I've ever spent in my life. What do you think, Toby?
Oh, I think so too. Yeah, no, I mean, when your arm was, and you almost broke your arm.
Oh, yeah.
And Grandpa kept showing the hammer, but there was a rubber hammer, but one of them was real.
What they did is they kept the steel of the hammer and put a rubber top on it. Now, come on guys, you just go right through and the steel hits the head. So I felt every little, and I think that blood up there that came out was mine. And you could hear when the hammer hit the bucket. They didn't have to use any Foley or sound effects for that, you know? That was, just put, one of the things I like too is when they tied me in the chair, Toby goes, she needs a rag in her mouth. Do we have a rag? You remember, we've been in this house and, oh God. So somebody just goes somewhere in that house, picks up that white thing that you saw with all kinds of strange, things in it, and puts it in my mouth. And you, not only is that miserable with the rope and everything, but as you're filming it, you can feel the little grit, sticking in your teeth. And then you wonder, is that thing moving in my mouth? I mean, and there was another time during that, when I was tied to the chair, I remember this distinctly. He's trying to mimic me and I'm fighting like this to get away and my arms are tied to those arms and my feet are tied. And so finally, trying to get away from Ed, I fall all the way over. And first thing I hear is, well, damn. She went out of the shot. Oh, well, I guess we got enough. Well, I'm still on the floor there with my gag in my mouth and my mouth tied up to the floor. And they're going, let's wrap and get up to the next thing. Oh, somebody help that up. I just didn't feel really, not even the girl up. It was just help that up.
The rag came just off the floor.
Yes, it did.
And the first broomstick beating you took, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was the safety broomstick. It was a piece of rebar. It was rubber covered rebar.
And rubber hurts again.
It bent, so she used the real stick. Much better, wasn't it? The real stick.
Oh yeah, that did wonders. Yeah.
Just use what you've got.
That's why when they're doing the truck scene and they have I'm supposed to be in that gunny sack, and I know C-Dow's going to be sitting there poking me with a stick and laughing and having a good time. And I'm thinking, oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. And I said, you know what? I'm in the sack, right? And they're going to be hitting that sack the whole time. Mary, that stuck girl, Mary, come get in this sack.
I was wondering, thinking about that a couple of weeks ago. Out of shot.
That was real funny. That's the first thing they said. Oh, damn.
All right, we got time for one last question. All right, up here.
We have a question right here.
Yep.
Was your mom mad at you when you made this movie?
Was your mom mad at you when you made this movie?
Yeah. I don't think so. No, a lot of those stories, you know, thank God that, yeah, they call them woe-begone tales. Now, that really looks like a leather, a good leather.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
I
awesome.
right. What
Good
is
stuff.
it? Excellent.
I believe it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Cool. No, my mother, yeah, didn't bother her. She didn't see it.
And neither did my mother.
Mine did. They brought their parents from the bridge class. And they all sat there in the movie, and Mother said, Marilyn, nobody said a word when it was over.
All right, that's about all the time we have. Now, if you guys want to meet these guys, make sure you come out this weekend, Texas Frightmare weekend, and let's save the autographs and all that stuff for them. Let these guys go back to the hotel. Big round of applause, everybody. Tobe Hooper, TexasFrightmareWeekend.com. Thank you.
Hi, we're here at the first night of Texas Frightmare Weekend. We're here with Parrish Randall and Terri.
How's it going, everybody?
So how are y'all doing tonight? How'd y'all like the movie?
Good. We came in a little late,
Oh.
unfortunately, but
That's unfortunate.
it was the second time that I'd seen it on the big screen. The Draft House, and maybe that was a bad word here since it's kind of a competing theater that serves beer, but they did a outdoor screening at the house at the Three Bears, and it's a bed and breakfast now, so people, you know, that were staying there saw all these guys show up with masks and outfits, and like this guy who's probably there, and they were scared shitless, you know. And even I remember a dad that had his kid with a little baby chainsaw and went right at the door where the metal slab was, the metal door, and taking pictures. And Gunner was there giving VIP tours. So was Marilyn Burns, Ed Neal. So it was pretty memorable. And so was this. It was great.
Yeah, we, as Drew said, we arrived a bit late, but it was awesome because I hadn't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre on a 35mm print since 1981 when I was 18 in its re-release. So it was.
I didn't even know it was re-released. Actually.
It was. There was that. Actually, I think it was released originally by Bryanston and then re-released in the mid to late 70s by New Line, and then once again in the early 80s. Okay, and I saw it at the Ivy Twin Cinema in Waco, Texas, Waco. But it was an awesome experience. Awesome to see Marilyn Burns, Tobe Hooper, Terri McMinn, and so many people there, you know, talking about the experiences making the film. And I think it's really unique that all these years later, independent filmmaking really hasn't changed that much. You hear the stories that they related tonight on the panel. It was awesome because what we do in independent film now is still very much the same. The philosophy is the same. Go for the shot. And as actors, as filmmakers, as directors, as crew people, we're willing to take the bruises, we're willing to take the hits, the falls, whatever, because it's all for the sake of entertainment. And we love horror, so we love doing it. It's cool.
And you're an actor and director, right? What have you been in, or what have you directed?
Actually, I played Blythe Remington, the lead bad guy in The Quick and the Undead, released by Anchor Bay Entertainment. You can check it out at Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, all those wonderful chain stores. I also did Slaughterhouse. I played David, the psychopathic rapist, as well as Flesh Keeper. Flesh Keeper was a film that really, I don't know, it owes a lot to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, let's put it that way. It's about a cannibalistic clan that does live in the backwoods of Texas, and so we had a great time making it. Again, we paid homage to Chainsaw in many ways, and it's a very different story, so check that out if you can. Currently, I'm doing Possum Walk, another story set here in Texas. Having a blast doing that one, and so life is good in horror, in blood.
Well, we're just 3 horror buffs, and we hope to see you at the rest of the festival tomorrow. Awesome. These guys and girls put on a show for us tonight when we were watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I just wanted to ask, who are you guys? Where are you from?
Misty Ridings, and I'm from San Antonio.
Awesome.
Jeff Bartlett, originally from Florida, but currently reside in Louisville, Texas.
My name is Faith Hart. I'm from Plano, Texas. Yes, from
draft house?
Evan Odell, Fort Worth, Texas. Right? Okay. All right, so that looks really painful, is it?
Oh, it's terrible. The worst piercing I've ever gotten in my life. Like, way worse than the septum. Way bad.
What else do you have pierced?
I don't think I'm allowed to tell anyone, really.
All right, we won't go there. We won't go there today. How long did it take to get bloodied up like that?
It wasn't really too bad at all. I mean, you pretty much rip the shirt up, you blood it all up and get all good and, well, bloody everywhere.
Get a draft house.
It was like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes?
About 15 minutes.
The
Nice job.
sloppier the better, really.
Exactly. So y'all are going to be the rest of the weekend, right?
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
Cool.
Wouldn't miss a moment.
We're
of it.
staff, so we're going to be there all weekend long.
So you are quite bloodied up.
I
Yes,
am.
everyone. How did it feel to get chainsawed before the movie even started?
Well, it was kind of improv. I was told that I was gonna get chased, but I didn't know I was actually gonna get the chainsaw to my stomach. So when he went in there, I was completely taken by surprise because, you know, I was listening to Lloyd talk and I was mesmerized, I was excited, and he comes in and I don't know what's going on and he automatically just puts it to my stomach. I'm taken back and it's actually pressing into my stomach, the actual chainsaw. And I was like, oh goodness, so, you know, I'm like immediately in character and just scream my lungs out and run. But it was awesome. It was a bit improv, but it was planned at the same time.
I think you might have been a little scared also, actually.
Yeah, I was, because it was unexpected and it was actually in there, in my stomach. I have a little bit of a red mark.
Well, it looks very realistic.
Thank you.
Was Lloyd in on that? Or?
He was.
Well, actually what happened was we had a meeting with Lloyd, Scott and I had a meeting with Lloyd last week, went to check out the venue and all that, so we could figure out how we were going to have the staff situated and all that. And Scott and I talked about, you know, maybe doing something like this. We threw the idea at Lloyd and he was cool with it. And he says, y'all do what you do. And so we did.
Do y'all know if Tobe knew about it before?
Tobe did not know.
So it was a big
Tobe,
surprise.
Marlyn, Terri, nobody knew about it except for us and Lloyd.
Well, it
So-
seemed they liked the show.
Well, that's what we were hoping for. You know? We just wanted to add a little extra twist to things. So.
We just saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the Texas Frightmare weekend. More to come for you guys.